I grew up in a lower middle class family. My dad, for all his genius and big, beautiful heart, had a lot of challenges finding consistent work. And there was a lot of times that my mom, on her teacher's salary, was trying to support 5 kids. In upstate New York, that wasn't easy. You didn't make a lot as a teacher. So I know what it means to be raised in challenge and be raised in financial straits. The earliest fear I can remember is, do we have enough money? And that fear followed me around my entire life. So money mindset and the way that we interact with money is something that I've gotten both positive and negative masterclasses with. I've had moments where I've had lots of money. I've had moments where I had to figure it out without hardly anything in the bank. And many successful entrepreneurs will tell you that when it comes to investing in businesses, they're not going to invest in you until you get your ass kicked a couple times. So it's very common for successful entrepreneurs to have either come from circumstances in which they were really financially challenged, or find themselves at some point, whether they'd been successful yet or not, in which they were very financially challenged. So this video is really designed to help you come to a new understanding and relationship with what money is, and hopefully to decondition some of the ways that you have experienced money, because I think for entrepreneurs, it's one of the ways that we are often very wounded. I, over the past year and a half, had a ton of conversations with entrepreneurs who are very successful. You know, many in the 7 and 8 figure range, people who have exited businesses. I was interviewing people to do research and for a podcast that I had started. And what I found was that all of these 7, 8, 9-figure entrepreneurs really had a lot of trauma in their background. And for some of them, that trauma was directly money associated. So there's 2 ways that people deal with that. One is they become successful by constantly running from the fear of not having enough. And for others, they look that fear dead in the eye and they actually resolve the underlying patterns and the underlying traumas that are sitting there and learn how to make money because it's what they choose to do and because they want to make the world a better place. I honestly can't tell you that one is better than the other. I can tell you one is more enjoyable than the other. So if you want to make money the first way, God bless you. But also know that you're just going to have to manage more uncertainty and more stress and more chaos in your system. So a couple of thoughts that I've come to a pretty clear realization about around money that I'm going to invite you to be in the contemplation of. The first is, people are always working on their money mindset. I don't know that that's a thing. I don't know that money is an energy. I don't know that money is really anything other than a means of value transfer. I think the truth of it is, when we're working on our money mindset, we're working on our worthiness. And that worthiness challenge extends to multiple areas of life. It usually shows up in your relationships. It usually shows up in putting yourself out there and believing in yourself. And at the root of that, for most people, is self-love. Because if you can love yourself sufficiently and you can see why you are valuable, then the deserving thing, why would you possibly deserve anything less than anyone else? And for other people, the money mindset thing is believing that they can have more than others. The truth is, everyone in the world, except for one person, has more money than someone else. So to use that as some sort of weird mental manipulation to trick yourself into believing that you shouldn't have money is madness. That's madness. That's internal chaos. For other people, they believe that they need to some sort of way spiritually manifest money. I will tell you, for most of them, That's a way of being avoidant of actually being here on the planet. And by calling it manifesting abundance, they are under the auspices of being spiritual. But if you're spiritual and ungrounded, that's one way to be, and you can decide if that works for you. It's going to be really hard to make a business. If you want to manifest money, what usually happens is you actually make some transformation of your higher self. You go into the realms in which your higher self are operating, whether that's the etheric, the astral, the mental, the emotional realm, the causal realm, any of these places where you have energy bodies, and you change an aspect of self that brings you into more care and more connection, more safety, more self-reliance, more courage, more confidence. And that makes the change. Now, of course, there are some metaphysical principles that are on the more advanced side of things that may clear out lineage blocks and all that type of stuff, but that's not really what we're getting to here. Really, the truth of it is getting to an understanding that money is just a way that we exchange value. And in order to consistently exchange value, you have to be really clear on what it is that you do. What it is that you do or your offer has to be really compelling. It has to be kind of a no-brainer for people. They have to understand why they want that. You have to understand who you are as an entrepreneur. What's your gift? What are you good at? What can you be in your mastery around? What would people line up around the block to receive from you? You have to understand who you serve. Who is this person that you desire to help? How can you be in contact with them more of the time? Where are they? How can you have conversations with them? Now, there is obviously all sorts of mechanisms for understanding who you are, from typology tests and astrology, human design, all of these different things. But the real truth is, I've seen for most people, is putting in the reps, is finding ways to help people and doing it as much as you can. Getting your 10,000 hours in is really going to show you what the skill set is. And understanding who it is that you're meant to serve is really about helping a lot of people and saying, it seems as though for this person I get really consistent results. It seems as though for this person I feel really lit up. It seems as though for the way my business is designed, these people naturally show up to me. And somewhere in the mix of that is the person that you're really meant to serve. And then creating an offering. Understanding how to put together a coaching session, a healing session, packages and systems and processes and all the things that need to occur to effortlessly take this person from interested in who you are to complete with their 2 months, 6 months, 2 years, whatever it is, length of time of service with you. That's what the offering is designed to do. If you have all three of those things, you have self-worth, you have self-love, you have the capacity to make a difference in people's lives, you don't need to manifest money. You just need to find better systems and processes of showing more people what it is that you do. That's not a secret. It's not metaphysical, really. It's really about just building a business in a way that will work for you. So I don't want to steal the thunder of all the manifestation experts here. I think that there's a right time and a right place for that. But most of the time, even when people have some success with manifestation, I find that it's not sustainable, because either it's covering up some sort of wound or challenge or energy leak or problem, or it's constantly relying on their energy to be fueling this manifestation. What I love about building a business that works is you're creating reliable, repeatable systems and processes, eventually that can be run by other people. So there is mechanisms that can get repeated over and over and over and over and over again to consistently bring more people into contact with who you are and what you do. This can be done with ads. This can be done with podcasts. This can be done with networking. This can be done with live events. I've helped clients with all of those things. All of those are possible vectors. But the right vector for you means that you've got to understand who you are. You've got to understand how you best show up. There's nothing worse than turning on a podcast that looked really enticing and having the realization this person really isn't designed for podcasts. And there's nothing worse than watching someone who's committed to doing ads only to realize that they've spent 10 grand and the ads are not going to work because they're not clear enough on their offer. They're not clear enough on how to take a person from interest to closed sale. So all of these three vectors, the offer, the entrepreneur, and the avatar, are critical to get really clear on. And when you do that, there's enough energy in the system of your business to generate dollars. And you come to realize that if you're self-loving and self-confident and clear and powerful, you know that money is just money. It doesn't actually mean anything about you. Your actions are what determine what is said about you and how you perceive yourself and how you interact with other humans is what determines if you're a good person or not. None of that is about money. None of that is about how many dollars you have in your bank account. You can be a good person and be broke. You can be a good person and be very wealthy. So I'm here to offer a pathway forward for you that's not constantly trying to resolve some problem around money. If you believe that money is just a means of exchanging value, then you focus on how to exchange value. And once you learn how to exchange value, you learn how to do it better so people get better outcomes. You learn how to do it faster so people can get to their outcomes faster. And you learn how to scale it so you can help more people at once. This is how money is created. There's not a whole lot of metaphysical process. And my hope is that that is either confronting for you, saying, but I want it to be a spiritual thing because I'm good at the spiritual. Well, do it. It's not going to hurt anyone. Do the work. Find out. Again, if you figure it out and I'm wrong, I'm the first to want to know. And I'll invite you on and we can do a program together. And you can set me straight. But for the other part of you and for the rest of you who are having the opposite experience of actually taking a deep sigh of relief and saying there's not some unfathomable thing out there that's holding me back. This is really just figuring out how I be in my mastery in ways that invite people into that mastery with me. Because I'm so clear and so certain that it is in fact what they need. It is the thing that's going to make a difference. And now we're creating structures and processes and systems by which we do that. So again, in the discussion, let me know, are you confronted? Are you triggered? Are you annoyed? Are you upset? Are you relieved? Are you happy? Does this make sense? Does this feel good? How are you experiencing this? Thanks for being on this journey with us.